Welcome to the sanctuary. I'm Kyle, and I'm here to tell you that I have to fix the camera. Just like this a little bit here. Yes. You know why I did that? There's a special reason. And if you're perceptive enough to have figured it out, tell me in the comments, because it should be plainly obvious for everyone to see. It's Something Weird Sunday! Yay! Look at this. I'm unprepared. Yay! Something Weird Sunday. This is where we talk about something weird video and all the good stuff that I have of theirs. Here in the pleasure den of the absurd. Yeah. Something Weird Sunday. All right, listen, I got the music up a little bit more. Got the camera a little bit closer because I need my dehumidifier on. It's rainy and wet out there, and oh boy, it's more swampy than the White House reading room. Hey, we're gonna have some fun today. You know why? Because it's Something Weird Sunday. Do. Where? In the pleasure den of the absurd. Yeah, hey, that's right. You got it. All right. Yeah, listen, hey. This is where we come. Let the problems of the world stay out there. Come in here and have some fun. We're going to talk about this DVD here, put out by Something Weird Video via Image Entertainment. Another fine double bill. It says here, the American dream is really a nightmare. The 70s, shock again in this ultra angry double feature from producer David F. Friedman. David F. Friedman is a name you're going to hear often. His name is pretty damn near synonymous with Something Weird Video itself. And rightly so. And we're going to talk about these movies here. Johnny FIRECLOUD and the rock and roll groupie feature called Bummer, which has a pretty good ending too. But Johnny FIRECLOUD here on the DVD, it states it's presented in its original theater aspect ratio of 2:35:1, which means it's a really widescreen, beautifully filmed, and as the ad art says, they taught him today's violence. He gave them yesterday's revenge. Oh boy. Well, before I tell you about the features themselves, as with all Something Weird Video DVDs, they give you a whole bunch of extras, and part of the special features has an audio commentary by producer David F. Friedman, which is always great. The guy, you know, had been in the movies for years. He's had a ton of experience and was in making movies for a long time and lived a very happy life because of it. So it's definitely worth hearing what he had to say, whatever it is, you know, because the guy was just a living historian, you know, and living history himself, you know. So kudos to David F. Friedman. It's got the original theatrical trailers for both these films. It's got also 70s Dusk to Dawn trailers for several movies. Angels. What is this? Beta in the Wall. Who's the fattest fish of all? Beta in the Wall. Who's the fattest fish of all? Never heard of it, but you'll see the preview for it here. And Boots and the Preacher, Girls in Trouble, The Love Slaves, and There's Always Vanilla. George Romero made There's Always Vanilla. You'll see some familiar faces in that movie that were also in his seminal zombie flick, Night of the Living Dead. This is Something Weird Video packs movie history into all their releases. I love it. You also get a burlesque short subject, number 1. Alope, the Apache Princess in War Drums. 70s film industry short subject, number 2. Blind Bidding and How It Affects You. That little short uses the analogy of buying a car. The analogy being for theater owners in buying product or renting product for the theaters to show the public. And, it was, I don't know, it's kind of a way to edge out the independent producer, it seemed, in kind of a way, But then you had David F. Friedman making well-produced films with high-caliber actors, beautifully filmed, in wonderful widescreen. So you couldn't really fault those guys, because they did keep up with the times. And also, too, with the special features, you get David F. Friedman Gallery of Exploitation Art with Friedman's soundtrack Greatest Hits. That's just the extras. So let's talk about these movies here. Named for the atomic bomb, Native American Johnny Firecloud returns from Vietnam to a desert town controlled by a white trash bigot named Colby, who hates Indians in general and Johnny in particular. Enraged that his daughter is in love with Firecloud, Colby catches them together, whips the bejesus out of Johnny, and has him tossed in jail. Worse, Chief White Eagle, Johnny's drunken grandfather, sobers up enough to demand Johnny's release, and instead, the poor guy is promptly lynched. All of which leads to Johnny escaping from his cell and staging a one-man Indian massacre against Colby and his racist cronies that begins with a good old-fashioned scalping. Oh yeah, Johnny Firecloud, starring Ralph Meeker, David Canary, a whole bunch of other people. It's a serious movie. It's a revenge film. It's about forbidden love. The guy that owns the town, runs the town. He's got the cops in his pocket. He's very well to do, and he doesn't like the fact that Army vet Johnny Firecloud being an Indian. Well, I ain't gonna have him marrying my daughter, and so yeah, he goes after all of his men, and I'll just tell you on this right here as a spoiler. One of the guy that he scalps, right? The guy that scalped goes to church and enters the church with his head all bloody and everything, and everybody looking at him screaming, But if you like, revenge movies, and everybody gets their comeuppance, I'll tell you. But, in the 70s, they had these weird endings to movies, man. And it's Johnny Firecloud has one of those sort of downbeat 70s endings to it. But it's well acted. There's a lot of drama going on and a lot of surprising things in relation to the characters in this film. If you like character-driven dramas with a lot of bloody action, you'll love Johnny Firecloud. Sacheen Littlefeather is in it. She passed away recently, within the last few years. She's the one that accepted the Oscar famously for Marlon Brando. Excuse me. But Johnny FIRECLOUD, check it out. Hey, take it from a half-breed himself. This is a good flick. And next up, Bummer. Look at this. You don't have to assault a groupie. You just have to ask. That's the way it was back then, you know. And I did a video on the great Frank Zappa live album, Fillmore East, June 1971. And if you want to hear musical comedy bits and escapades, you know, in an operatic format, in a rock and roll operatic format, go listen to that record. But this film, yeah, it's about a rock band, 4-piece, touring in their van, and you know, they meet some groupies, fall in love, and but one of the band members isn't right in the head, causes a lot of trouble, and maybe even a little murder. So that's a wild flick here, but let's see. It says take 3 hot to trot groupies, mix well with the 70s LA rock scene, add plenty of sex, drugs, and violence, and watch it all explodes into one big bummer. In other words, a far-out trip through a hard rock tunnel. That's right, Bummer. I always thought the guy on the ad art looked like Sylvester Stallone, but there's nobody in the film that looks like this guy. But I don't know if you can see a little bit of that ad art there. It gives you a taste of what you're going to see. And that's, you know, this is what was going on in the 70s. You know, these movies were made. They were playing in theaters. And let's see if I can find the year. It's really hard to... I think this is 73 was Bummer, and look, Johnny FIRECLOUD is either 73, 4, or 5. Probably 75. And two enjoyable flicks, you know, if you like this kind of thing, and if you know what Something Weird video is about, I would definitely recommend these for anybody with such discriminating tastes. And with that, I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, click that thumbs up button, give it a like. If you really like what we do, which is just set the camera down, look into it, hold stuff up and talk about it, well, subscribe to the channel. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. We got Something Weird Sundays on Sunday. We've got Monster Mondays on Monday. And in between, who knows what I'm going to be talking about. But I got records, I got CDs, I got DVDs, I got Blu-rays, I've got professional promotional material, all sorts of memorabilia and magazines. And just look at my content, what I posted already, and you'll see a lot about what's going on here in the pleasure den of the absurd.